How's it going, you guys? So in this video I'm going to give an update on my carnivore diet with intermittent fasting that I talked about at the beginning of this month, which is July. So basically, for 2 weeks I did strict carnivore diet, and I also did intermittent fasting, about 18-hour fasts, for about a good week. I kept the intermittent fasting in, but I train extremely hard. I do usually about 3 hours of jiu-jitsu sessions. So three separate jiu-jitsu sessions, usually back to back, sometimes two in the morning, one at night, and I mix it up. On top of one maximum strength and conditioning session in the morning that usually consists of, doing 5 rep maxes on squat or deadlift or bench press or overhead press, stuff like that. And I'll do like high intensity interval training after my max strength work. And I do that about 4 times a week, sometimes 5. And so, because my caloric output is so high, I do believe over time you'll start to develop a lot more fatigue compared to if you were eating more calories more frequently. And it's not really the frequency as much as it is the quantity of caloric energy that you consume. So, first week I did intermittent fasting combined with a strict carnivore diet. And then after the first week, because I was feeling so good from the intermittent fasting and the intense exercise, I added bulletproof coffee in the morning. So instead of fasting, because I was training fasted, I would do my strength and conditioning and then 2 hours of jiu-jitsu, all fasted up until like 2 p.m. And then I started adding bulletproof coffee in the morning with 2 raw eggs and like 25 grams of protein powder, just plain. And then 1 tablespoon of butter, 1 tablespoon of C8 brain octane oil. And just, eating meat, butter, fat, and I just kept that up. No supplements other than like I took some magnesium on some days, like some nights, just to experiment a little bit. And I've actually found if I combine high intensity exercise with a low carb diet, and eat enough protein each day, I sleep fine and I don't need any supplements. And in fact, some nights when I took magnesium, if I didn't work out that day, I would have some trouble sleeping. So I noticed the magnesium didn't really seem to help as much with sleep compared to my intense training routine combined with the carnivore diet. So, for those of you who don't know, I actually did the carnivore diet for 3 months straight. Well, actually, for 1 month straight. And no, it was December of 2018. And then I was strict keto for like the entire year of 2019 with some, like, I tried like a couple carb experiments just for like a day at a time. And then I think like a couple times a whole week just to see if carbs mattered. And so, this month doing the carnivore diet, I actually have had better sports performance than everyone else at my martial arts school. Now, mind you, I'm, I've been kickboxing for like 8 years. So I'm good at that. And I tried a Muay Thai, and I did a Muay Thai class like once during this experiment, because Muay Thai is a lot more cardio and conditioning, and jiu-jitsu is like a walk in the park for me as far as cardio is concerned. And I didn't see any performance detriments in Muay Thai. Now, jiu-jitsu, I only have about, 4 months, give or take, of training under my belt. So I'm a white belt in jiu-jitsu. So, but when you're a white belt, especially if you're sparring with other white belts, it's a whole lot more intensity and more exertion. 'cause white belts are spazzes. And so, despite the fact that I'm, still a white belt, and plus I'm stronger than everyone, the point here though is like, sure, I don't have the same skill, but I'm doing back to back. Like tonight, I just did 3.5 hours of jujitsu, and then in the morning I did 30 minutes of interval heavy bag. I did 3 minutes on, 1 minute off, 9 rounds. Right after like a max snatch and squat session, and then 3.5 hours of jiu-jitsu tonight. And so, everyone else, they might do one session of jiu-jitsu and no strength and conditioning at all, or they might do two, and everyone is wiped out from the warm up. A lot of people, they're crying about the warm up, like they have no endurance for the warm up, which is just like some jogging for like 5 minutes, jumping jacks, and then like some various like front rolls and stuff like that. There's some out of shape purple belts. They're like fat, and they are huffing and puffing after the warm up. Now, but the point here is, like it seems like normal people, they can handle like one jiu-jitsu session, but they're like tired and out of breath and stuff after their 1 hour of jiu-jitsu. Sometimes they'll stay for 2 sessions, but they don't have the same kind of energy that I do. Like they're getting weak, they're tired. For me, I rolled for 30 minutes straight tonight on the third jiu-jitsu class. And I did get submitted multiple times from more experienced people, but I didn't lose any breath. So like I was just fresh, and I was moving. I mean, I was getting submitted, but I was defending side control, defending full mount. I was sweeping people, breaking guard, and so the point here though is, my performance is not affected by carb intake at all. I tried that repeat diet during June for like 1 week, where I was eating over 500 grams of carbs from like orange juice, milk. I even was using like dextrose powder and pure sugar, which was a stupid idea, but that's Ray Peat's principles. I felt like crap, and I did not see an increase in endurance or recovery or any kind of like glycogen, like what you would think would be benefits of glycogen repletion. I didn't see any of that when I was doing the high carb shit. Now, mind you, after the first 2 weeks of this experiment, because, I've been doing keto, I did keto all through 2019 and most of this year too. I maintain, like, I hardly eat carbs. Like, this whole year, I might have, like, I did, like, a week at a time here and there. I would add, like, fruit into my diet or try, like, white rice to see if it made a difference. And I don't see a difference, but I do enjoy eating fruit. So, I added back in some low-carb berries and stuff like that, especially because, well, for one, because I enjoy them, and for two, because I do believe that fruit are one of the most, like, you guys, if you've seen my hierarchy of carbohydrates, I already explained why I believe fruits are a good human carb, and why they're safe, and why they're nutritious, and why they're preferable. But I don't really need carbs. Like, what I do need is salt. Especially when I'm not eating carbs, if I don't stay on top of my salt, I feel like crap. I have constipation and whatnot. But if I get enough salt, I have huge bowel movement every morning, lots of energy, sports performance is fine. So, what am I saying here? So I've said this millions of times, and I've done this carb experiment over and over again, and I don't really see any like benefit of eating you know, if you eat carbs and you're eating over 100 grams because you think you need it, it's a joke. I'm doing all this crazy athletic, you know, mixed martial arts and heavy strength training, better performance than everyone else, despite being on like a carnivore diet. And when I was doing intermittent fasting too, and not to mention I'm like 12% body fat, so, or maybe 14, I don't know, right now. And all these people, they think, oh, you need the carbs, you know, carnivore is stupid. You know, you can't be an athlete on carnivore, on keto or whatever. And it's not even, it's not like protein being turned into carbs. It's fat, guys. People don't even know that. People will say, oh, it's because you're eating too much protein and blah, 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 and it's converting into carbs. No, gluconeogenesis happens to people that eat carb diets too, especially when they're calorically restricted. When your body actually breaks down body fat and turns it into carbohydrates endogenously through gluconeogenesis, and it's demand driven. Protein only gets broken down and turned into glucose during periods of extreme starvation over a long period of time. Like if you do a 30-day fast, your muscle tissue will break down into amino acids and fuel glucose needs if your body fat's super low. Like people that are starving and dying of anorexia, their body's breaking down muscle tissue to feed the brain glucose because it has no more body fat to convert via gluconeogenesis. Anyway, so much misinformation out there. Yeah, so I'm unaffected by this low carb diet, and no supplements, just all my salt. And this is probably the most intense 2 months of training that I've probably ever done. Really, I've always been an athlete and trained intensely, but this has been the hardest training block where I'm training like 4 times a day and it's high intensity every time. I mean, damn, I trained 6 hours today. 7, almost 7. So, yeah, but of course I have been doing keto and low carb. I mean, I have hardly ever gone over 100 grams of carbs at all since November of 2018. And most times I'm under 20 grams of net carbs per day. I mostly eat meat, eggs. Some months I'll do cheese, mostly butter and beef trimmings like suet and whatnot. I'll eat pork chops. And then whatever carbs I eat are usually like berries mixed into meat soup. I eat liver. And I might throw some blueberries in there, or I already said that. I might, and the highest carb food I might eat would be bananas. Sometimes I'll find bananas on sale at my local grocery store for like 20 cents a pound, because I get like 50% off sometimes when the bananas are ripe, which is the best time to eat them. So I might stock up on those and just do a couple days of eating shit tons of bananas. But if anything, I see that as a detriment. I think the magnesium and the potassium is beneficial because those are nutrients that are not found as abundantly in meat, even though they are found in adequate amounts. And I think there might be benefits to the vitamin C and the polyphenols as well. I've been experimenting, I've experimented with vitamin C supplementation, and so anyway, yeah, I'm still not eating like a high carb diet, but I might have some blueberries now after the last 2 weeks of carnivore. Anyway, you don't need carbs though, but again, I have been doing this low carb shit for so long that my body's probably pretty damn adapted to it. I've been amazed with the amount of like exercise, like hard training, not just exercise, hard martial arts training, strength training, heavy bag, sparring. I've been amazed at my performance despite the fact that I don't eat high carbs. It's fascinating, and Ever since I learned about this, I'm learned about the carnivore diet, and it's hard to take nutrition science seriously when you experience what I have. So, anyway, I'll talk to you guys later.